So, yay. I'm going to do a couple pieces. So these are micro-memoirs, like you kindly mentioned, and if you don't know that term, it's okay. I think I made it up. What they are tiny, true stories about my life. So I got my training in poetry, and I've written in different genres, and I found that this form allows me to be greedy with the things I like most, because what I really like from poetry is that extreme compression and abbreviation, and Sal just read some beautiful things. Thank you for that gorgeous, gorgeous talk. What I really love from fiction is creating an arc of experience, and what I really love from nonfiction is truth-telling. So these are some of these true stories, very small, micro-memoirs. Here's the first one in the book. Married Love. Playing the long game. Even now, 3 years later, when she opens the drawer beside the stove for oven mitts, she finds the oven mitts folded. This is because 3 years earlier, during an intense game of scattergories, when the category was things you fold, and the letter was O, her husband had written oven mitts. Nobody folds oven mitts, she scoffed, and refused him his point, forcing him ever since to prove it. And this is another in that same married love sequence that I actually pulled from the previous book, Heating and Cooling. I had married love sequence in there. I think why I got interested in this topic is American culture doesn't really have an ethos that appreciates the love of people who are just hanging out day after day. We write a lot of songs and movies about first love or unrequited love, but married love, just long partnered love, it's a different kind of thing, and I thought maybe it would be fun to look at. So, married love. Because I've been French kissing him for 29 years, I discerned that earlier, during dinner, my husband must have bitten his tongue. I discerned this after dinner with my tongue.
Speak closer to the mic.
Oh, sure, thank you
please.
so much for letting me know. I'm speaking closer to the mic. Is that better?
Yep.
You think so? Okay. Tree pose. Do not get attached to your thoughts, intones the yogi. Observe without judgment. I stand on one leg, my right heel wedged high on my left inner thigh, my arms spread like branches. Trees have no ego, she continues. I sense jittery movements off to both sides, the other trees flailing. Behind me, a clumsy tree falls. Not this tree. I root down, I pull sap to my leaves. Now the psychic yogi intones, stop comparing yourself to others. If you compare, you are not a tree. You cannot be a tree. Bitch, I'm a tree. I'm just a species of competitive tree. This little trick I play on myself. When I fantasize about being single and being childless and living in a modern apartment in a European capital, I remind myself that if that were my life, I'd fantasize about being married and having children and living in a comfortable home in a small town, which is my life. My imagined me provides a useful elixir. Revived by her envy, I rise to make dinner. I'm changing the tone on us just a little bit. This is from another sequence that runs through the book. This is called Two Sisters, One Thinner, One Better Dressed. When my sister and I would meet at her apartment before heading out to bars, I would choose my clothes with care. I knew when I walked through her door, she would study me, especially if a few weeks or more had passed since we'd seen each other. Sisters are envious, sure, but we were also gathering information. We shared a likeness, so it was a way to test how we'd fare in a different outfit, a new haircut. She was often thinner than I was, but I had better style. Younger by 2 years, I was her leader only in fashion. I would often be wearing something she hadn't yet considered. She would ask me where I got it, and I would tell her, maybe showing off a little. Sometimes she'd want to try it on, and I would accessorize her, cuff her jeans, or angle the belt on her hips. If she asked, we'd swap outfits for the night. It was worth being the frumpier one to make her happy. I'm still aware of how I look when I visit her. I live in a different state now, so it's not as often. But when I'm back in Illinois at our mom's house, I always end my run by visiting her. I stand panting in the grass at my sister's feet. I'm aware of how she sees me, huffing clouds from my lungs, my skin bright with sweat in my new running clothes. Still showing off, I suppose, as she's stuck wearing the navy suit I chose the last time I styled her. A suit now 13 years outdated, though fashionable enough when they closed her casket. And this is the title piece of the new book. The book is called The Irish Goodbye. I should probably mention that it's available for pre-order. I'm supposed to shill this, is horrible. But you know, now they say like the press pays so much attention to pre-orders that they actually put more PR behind a book that's already selling before it's even released, which I think is horrible. But if anyone wants to be nice, please pre-order my book. Oh, anyway, this is the title piece. Normally the title piece is a really long or, you know, centerpiece of the book. This is just a one-sentence piece. The Irish Goodbye. How, without farewells, you slipped out the back door of the party of your life, oh my sister. And I'm going to end with two pieces, and they're kind of connected. It'll make sense in a minute. Making plans with friends. In college, Lloyd was perfect boyfriend material. Sweet, smart, funny, handsome. But you never dated. No chemistry. Instead, you became friends. In those days, you were always buffeted about by love, alternating unsuitable boyfriends with unrequited crushes. Meanwhile, you watched your roommates happily pairing off. Your despair arose not so much from the prospect of being single forever as from the prospect of never having children. Even then, you stared at babies in the grocery store. Lloyd, meanwhile, was enduring his own bad luck in love. You'd commiserate, exchange war stories. Lloyd also wanted a family and was beginning to doubt its likelihood, which was crazy. Anyone could see he'd make a great husband and father. At some point, one of you, and now it's 35 years later, so neither of you can remember who, came up with the plan. You'd continue putting yourselves out there, sure, but if you were losers and loveless at 30, an age that seemed impossibly geriatric, you'd meet up and mess around until you had kids. You kept this plan from your roommates, but sometimes when you and Lloyd were alone, one of you would allude to it, and the other would grin. Of course, in time, you both found great spouses and had 3 kids apiece. But for years, the two of you, goal-oriented and type A, took comfort from the plan. And now, you have an updated plan. Again, kept from your roommates. For the past several years, you and Lloyd have watched Alzheimer's avalanche your mothers, have watched it bury them alive. When others ask how your mom is doing, you always say she's fine, because the truth is too ugly. You reserve the ugly truth for Lloyd. You commiserate, exchange war stories. When he phoned last month to say his mom had finally died, he had the grace not to be shocked when these words tumbled from your mouth. I'm jealous. All he said was, I know, honey, I know. So he remains your perfect collaborator. 100 times when talking about the drawn-out misery of these deaths, you vowed to each other, not me, not like that. You've given serious consideration to alternatives, and both have communicated your preferences. Lloyd, gun. You, pills. But what if, when the time comes, his finger is too weak to pull the trigger? What if you can't find the pills or remember to swallow them? Relax. He knows the value of a plan your former future baby daddy turned current future murderer. He'll have figured out your dosage. You'll know how to shoot the gun. And this is the last piece I'm going to read. It's still part of the Married Love series, but it kind of goes with that previous piece. Married Love, addendum to making plans with friends. You know, it would never actually come to that, says my husband. Why not, you ask? You don't think Lloyd would murder me? It's not that. It's that, well, if you needed murdering, I'd be the one to murder you. Oh, sweetheart, you say, you could never murder me. You love me too much to murder me. No, your husband says, I love you so much I would murder you. It would have to be me with you at the very end, murdering you. That's the most romantic thing, you say, and mean it. And then you both laugh for a long time.